السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته جميعا. Today I'd like to talk about black or black crime. And something about black on black crime in particular. Now, in many places within the US, uh, the COVID restrictions are relaxing. In some states, the restrictions are going away. And something that many of us are coming to the realization that the black on black crime is increasing despite the movement of Black Lives Matter, despite blacks are getting together and speaking out against systemic racism from the US government, despite all these movements and talks, black on black crime is being ignored, and black on black crime seems not to be on the agenda of black Americans. Why did I decided to talk about black on black crime? Because if we ignore black on black crime, it is something that is not going to go away on its own. Some of the people say the issues or the origin of black on black crime is from a number of things pertaining to systemic racism, and blacks are being excluded from financial growth within the United States. Part of the systemic racism against blacks is keeping blacks out of economics or group economics. And these are some of the people's reasons why black on black crime exists, due to blacks having uh, no course of income or economics. So it's a rat race between blacks fighting each other for the little resources that are in their communities. On another hand, some people have charged that black on black crimes is related to self-hate amongst the African American culture, and this particular self-hate and not knowing how to deal or build with each other as a community, that these are the reasons behind black on black crime. Some have also said the reason of black on black crime has increased, it is from the black single female household, where the black man, the black male role model figure is no longer in the home, and the black woman have chose uh, the welfare system and the government system as being her financial support, and this came with conditions that allowed or came with conditions that put the black male role model out of the household. So all of these things which were mentioned just now, some say that these are the reason for the increase of black on black crime within the United States. Is from systemic racism that rule blacks out of having economic wealth. Also, people have said it is self-hate from amongst the black Americans, and that self-hate has gone to its worst. And some have said it's the single female household. In reality, it is all the above. It's all the above. All these things contribute to black on black crime. But I want to mention, why is it getting worse now? Why in 2021 it is getting worse? Some people have said due to the pandemic and the lockdowns from the pandemic that people are going through mental health issues, and due to being locked down, do not know how to behave, or people have mental health crises going on, and they have no access to mental health services. Well, I'm going to say that is not really the issue, because mental health services do exist. It exists for a long time, especially in democratic states, where welfare states, where people who have certain type of income, low income, they get free health care, especially from the Medicaid system, and even under Obama's care, everybody has access to health insurance, and under health insurance, uh, mental health services are there for those who need it. So I can't say it's not access to mental health. In the United States, the black community, where we are not, we don't have a shortage on mental health physicians. I know many blacks who are mental health physicians or work in the mental health field. So it's not the mental health field. I like to really talk deeper. What is the main reason cause of the increase on black crimes, which is not being discussed from BLM, Black Lives Matter movement? Neither is talked about from the black conscious community, and neither is it spoken about within the black community. It's because black peoples don't want to stand up and fix their communities. And some of that happens to be with the self-hate. It happens to be with self-hate, the lack of financial resources, the lack of male role models, black male role models in the home, the welfare system that took out the black male out the household, the court system, family court system that separated the black male from his children, the criminal court system that separated the black male from his children by mass incarceration. Uh, Now you're going to find them legalizing marijuana. This also is going to contribute to black on black crime at a higher rate, but many blacks are not ready for it. Many blacks are woke. Many blacks are pushing the BLM agenda, which is not helping the black issues or black crisis in America with black on black crime and self-hate. And us as blacks not knowing how to deal with economics, group economics, us not having a ethnocentric culture where we are working with each other instead of working against each other. And then with the major issue is the moral system is gone. American moral system, the black American moral culture and system, from religion, religious teachings, from moral principles, from ethnocentric cultures, which is about self-preservation or preserving one's culture and identity, because we lack having these things and not having a deep love for one another, and the moral compass is the moral system is gone. Our moral compass is corrupted. How can you tell? Well, just look at the hip hop industry in America. In the hip hop industry, which brought wealth and money to individuals in the black community, but when you listen to the music, it's talking about black people killing each other, black peoples in the rat race killing each other. Black people are competing with murdering each other. Black men who are talking ill about black women who are speaking ill about black men, talking about they don't need a man. So all these things are contributing to the destruction of the black family and black individuals. But we're going to find that it's going to get worse, because the music is not changing. The cultural music impacts culture. Music impacts how you think and how you behave. For example, if you look at white folks' music, they're not talking about killing each other. When you listen to Latino music, they're not talking about murdering and killing each other. When you listen to Asian music, they're not speaking about killing and murdering each other. But when you listen to black music, especially from the rap music, it's talking about the black black men killing the next black man. It's talking about gang-related issues. It's talking about shooting and killing. It's talking about the black experiments, or the black experience with killing each other in the streets. For sure, if you listen to this all day long, you're going to become what you listen to. You know, how do children learn how to speak? If you listen or learn how children learn how to speak is by their environment, their parents. Imagine now you listen to this type of music for decades now. You build your brain listening, fixed on this type of thing. What is it going to do? It's not going to promote black unity. It's going to promote black destruction by their own hands. So when we look deep into the matter of the moral compass that is lacking in the black community, if you look on social media, it is just getting worse. All right? If you look at the youth today, just from the social media, if you look at TikTok, Facebook, all the videos and all the things that are coming out, you'll find that the black youth, that they are glorifying these type of behaviors that is destructive on the black community. And then they are glorifying or idolizing their own emotions or feelings, worshiping oneself, on top of exploiting each other, or exploiting our weaknesses, our dysfunctions, exploiting it, and not realizing that all these things are contributing to our own destruction. And it's a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb, as the Black Lives Matters is pushing towards the government with speaking about systemic racism. And on the other hand, you have blacks who are destroying each others. On the other hand, from the music, from the culture, from our thinking, from our social structures, we have the black male and the black woman who don't know how to live together. And if black man and black woman do not know how to live together and build together, then this system that is set up to destroy us, it is working. It is working. The system that is designed to destroy us, it is working, and we are allowing it to work. They just set their hand on the minute. You got me? Or they set the clock, their hand on the hour, and just the minute hand, we are the minute hand making the hour part of the clock moving. We are the minutes moving on the clock. They just set up the clock, they set it on the hour, and us, our black hatred is like the minute hand on the clock. Is this moving? We are pushing it. We're pushing their agenda just by our own cultural structure of destructiveness. Black hates or self-hates. Black on black crime is part of the self-hate. And we know where it extends from. We know it extends from systemic racism. We know it extends from having no income. But that's not an excuse for us to exploit each other by destroying each other. And if there is no unity and black people do not decide to come together to fix these issues, then everything that the Black Lives Matter movement stands for, and at the end of the day, we won't have no black community or any black peoples to get any type of reparation, because we'll be fighting and destroying and killing each other. Or as soon as we get the money, we're going to exploit the money. Somebody in the community is going to exploit us for the money, and all the funds is going to be lost. And I give you a good example of this from Sudan. Sudan is a good example to mention. The Muslim part of Sudan, who fought the south part of Sudan, and people try to say it was a Muslim against Christian issues in Sudan, and the Christians in the U.S. pushed for the U.S. government to assist the south part of Sudan, the Christian part of Sudan, to separate from the north, the Muslim part of Sudan. And the Sudani government, which is the Muslim government, didn't want this. Didn't want this. Some people say the war is black on black crime, black hate, which is true. Part of it is black hate. Yes, this is true because our black hate originate from Africa. Our black hate in America originate from Africa. Africans sold their own peoples into slavery. Africans sold their own black peoples, their tribal members, their own black nations, those who they was war at, those who they disliked. They sold them into slavery, into to the Arabs. They sold them into slavery to the Europeans. So a lot of our origin on black hate comes from our origins. But to continue, when the U.S. government pushed, and the international community pushed from the North Port of Sudan to let the South go, North Port of Sudan did. And the American government backed up the South part of Sudan and gave them a lot of funds. But the South part of Sudan, they didn't have hospitals. They didn't have a structural government. What they had is a lot of thieves from amongst them who were very close to the Western governments who wanted to divide Sudan, who was close to them. So when the North gave the South its independence, all the money and wealth that the Western governments gave to the south of Sudan, peoples in their government exploited the money, took the money for themselves, didn't know what to do with the money, didn't know how government is built, did not know how to structure government. So people who took the money and spend it on lavishments for themselves. And then you found the peoples in South Sudan, they didn't have no hospitals. They had no structures. The money that the Russian governments gave to the South of Sudan, they exploited the money. And then the people in the South Sudan, the people who they was fighting from the north, they had to go back to them for medical help. Because the people of the South of Sudan didn't know how to build a government. Didn't know how to build structural hospitals or structural government that benefits the people. So they exploited the money. And the people suffered from it. Why? Because blacks didn't have no organization. And then the South part of Sudan, at this time, start fighting each other. They had start fighting each other. They had no unity. And they allowed the Russian governments to separate Sudan, the North from the South. Then the South start fighting each other. This was going to go back to Black America. If you don't have any moral structure, and we already in our culture have a lot of black on black crime, and we are fighting and killing each other, what do you think reparation is going to do for us? If we don't know how to move as a unit, and we have a lot of self-hatred, what's going to happen is, if the U.S. government ever decide to do it, and that is a question mark there, that's a question mark. If they was ever to allow or ever to give reparations to black, you know what's going to happen if you have all this black on black crime, which black on black crime means self-hate, means disunified. If we don't have unity, you know how to fix these issues. When the government, if they ever, and that's a question mark, decide to give us reparation, and that is a question mark, blacks are going to exploit each other, which means American government is going to give to certain black organizations, and they're going to exploit the money for themselves, because black people are not unified. Just like Black Lives Matter movement made a lot of money off of Black Lives Matter movements. They made a lot of money. And all those victims that they went to protest for, the victims of police brutality, the victims of systemic racism, their families didn't make any money off of it, except for 2 or 3. And the Black Lives Matter movement made money off of these people's being killed. They made millions of dollars off of it from donations, which didn't go back into the hands of black peoples or the black community. So imagine what's going to happen if we don't fix black on black crime, self-hate. Imagine when The U.S. government give us reparation, and that is a question mark. That is a question mark that we don't have the unity, the self-awareness, the moral system to do anything with the money. So those black organizations that are organized, who have unity in some type of structure, they're going to get the money. The government is going to give them the reparation money. It's going to put them in charge of the reparation money, and that's still a question mark. And if they give them that money, they're just going to hold on to the money and benefit their organization, and not black people's, because we're not united, and we're busy fighting each other because we have a lot of self-hatred. And like many other black organizations that really are not for black people but claim to be for black peoples, when money comes in their hands, that money doesn't trickle down to the black community. For example, let's ask yourself, where you see NAACP in the black community, in the hood, in the streets, where you see them at? You don't. Many blacks, we have no interaction with NAACP, and they have no interactions with us. The Black Caucus, where are they at? We don't even know many of us don't even know who the members of the Black Caucus, because they have nothing to do with the black community. So imagine if reparation is ever given to blacks, because we're not unified, and we are competing and fighting each other, and we have the self-hatred. If that was to ever happen, and that's a question mark, the reparation is a question mark, then it means only the black organizations that are organized, who are within, who are morals and organization coincides with the United States government plans or whatever, they would get the money, and that money will never trickle down to the black community. And there's going to be just the continuation of the circle of black on black crime, which in reality, black on black crime is just black hatred for each other. Not having an ethnocentric culture where we recognize each other and we put each other first. And this is something that we need to fix. And how the youth are today in the black community, they're not going to be the recipients of any type of reparation. Because the black hip-hop culture, the youth today, they are what? Nafsi. We say in Arabic, nafsi. It's all about self. They worship self. They idolize and worship themselves and their emotions. You have a narcissistic culture in the black community where everybody's worshiping their own emotions. This is going to be the leader for the blacks for the future. These young people are supposed to be the leaders for our future generation. And this is going to be our leaders. The people who have no morals. We're going to be our leaders. Black Lives Matter, which is a lesbian movement, a homosexual movement. That's going to be the future for African Americans in America. That's going to be our future. Homosexuality, lesbian, which exclude the black man from the household, who's against the nuclear family. That's going to be the future for blacks in America. It's time to get our shit right. If we don't get our shit right, we're going to be lost in this society. We're going to be in this United States of America. We're going to be a permanent down class. We're going to be the permanent down class, and we're going to be the role model in America for those who migrate to this country, who not to be like. We're the perfect role model in the United States who not to be like. And we're going to be the permanent role model on when we're not unified, what happens and how the destruction comes. We're going to become in the United States the modern day example of people who are disunified, who have no moral system, who can't work together, and when money goes in their hand, well, not if the U.S. government gives them reputation, how are we going to be destructive with the money, and how we are destructive with each other if we don't get ourselves together? That's another question about reputation. This is why the U.S. government will never give us reputation, never. My personal opinion. Right? They will never give us any reputation, never, because they already know we're dysfunctional peoples. They already know us as a group of peoples. We cannot work together. They know that already. That's why you find certain black peoples in government. Why? That's a good question. Somebody might ask. Well, we're not unified. We're not working. We're not unified. We don't know how to work together. Why are there some black people in government? Because white America, the corporate America, U.S. government find that if there's black people who are intelligent in the black community, that we use these individuals to push our white agendas. Because these intellectual black folks might see that the black community can't get it right. The black community, they know that some of these individuals got intellect and say, well, the black community, we can't get it right. They can't get it right. And this person has all these talents. This black person have all these talents. And the black community doesn't know how to benefit from them because they're not organized. And they're dysfunctional. And they have a lot of self-hatred. So the white government or corporation use these black peoples to push their own white agenda. And that's only very few black peoples. They allow it. So the government never going to give black people's reputation. They might give certain black peoples opportunities who have this type of intellect. And the remaining of us who are shooting up each other, who are robbing each other, who are beating each other, who are fighting each other, you know what they're going to do for you? They're going to put you in a new form of prison. I'll say it again. They're going to put you in a new form of prison. And what's this new form of prison? This new form of prison is going to be, hey man, we're gonna legalize marijuana. You should get high all day. I'm a black woman. I don't need no man to take care of me, but you're on welfare, got all these kids. Then the government's going to say, we're just going to give you more money to put you further in your dysfunction. We're going to financially plan your long-term dysfunction for the next generation of your children, who's going to grow up with no role models in your house, and who's also going to continue this dysfunction down the line. All the American government is going to do is put money into that, because that's going to lead you guys into being more dysfunction, more black on black crime, more mental health issues, and it's going to leave you guys in free housing in one section in the corner in every state that there's a black population, for you guys to vanish. For you guys to vanish, either through vanish through the system, or vanish at the hands of each other, or vanish through your own demise by your own ignorance. It's time for us to change and change our thinking. I'm Abul, Baraa, Al-Amreeky, and this is some of my advice and my thoughts on black crime.